Starting. We live. Welcome to
So-
Three Kings, motherfucker. Zach's still dead.
I'm going to see him in Laramie this weekend.
Oh, you're going to Laramie?
Yeah, we're leaving in the morning.
Oh, you're going to go see John?
Yeah, we're going to go. We're going to see John and Ikaika tomorrow, and then Zach's coming up Friday from your mom's place.
Tits.
So he's going to take Friday and Saturday, and then he'll head back Sunday, and we'll head back Sunday. I got to be at work on Monday. My summer is over.
Oh, you got to go back to work Monday, huh?
Yeah.
Man,
well, you have that.
I think I just lost his money. I don't think the guy's going to send it. Fuck that. And how I'm like, you guys are multi-billion-dollar companies. You're Google and you're Bank of America. How are...
What was our excuse?
Google said that they attempted 6 times and Bank of America denied it. And then when I called Bank of America, I was on the phone at the same time. And Bank of America was saying that they never even got the things through and that they use a debit card and debit cards don't go both ways. They can't accept money through a debit card. And Google Pay is like, that's how we do it. It goes through a debit card. I'm like, well, my bank's fucking telling me right now that it won't go through a debit card. So you guys got to figure your shit out because you just cost me a lot of money.
It's crazy.
That's why I said cryptos. Fuck these people, man. Like, this guy's inept. You know, you could use Venmo. Venmo paid your card, so you got Google Pay and something else. So now I'm on the... Why can't I meet a person that just pays me in cryptos? Like, these banks, I'm laughing because Google Pay is saying, we're a company that works with so many banks and blah, 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 and we're happy to work with any partners that use this. Yeah, well, obviously not one of the fucking largest multinational banks. They're not working with you because when I called Bank of America, they said they're not. So what the fuck? Like, it's the most frustrating fucking thing. So then now my only options, Ribs, was to send it to just my Google Wallet. That was it. They're like, why don't you just send it to your Google Wallet? I was like, and then what? Just have my 1,200 every single time I need to pay for goods, just tap my little fucking wallet? Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Venmo. It works quick.
Yeah, but I guess there's Oh no, just push the door open. That's funny. I guess there's like a debit card fee. You would have to pay a debit card fee. So I should just offer to fucking pay it. Because I've never had Venmo.
That is ridiculous.
Dude, I'm so frustrated. Because that's just money out of my pocket. It's just fucking annoying. And maybe this guy hits me up, but I wouldn't. If I were in his shoes and I just tried to send somebody money, because he's in Indiana. So basically this guy sent me the cash. And we had a contract, and then I'm sending him the coins and shit. And it's like, you know, would you send if the first time you did it, the guy's like, hey, man, it's not going through. I can't get it to my account. And then, you know, I was just trying to keep him in the loop. And then he canceled it.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does blow.
Yeah, I mean, if we take 1 step forward and 2 steps back lately, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
so,
God. Like exactly what it says. Why do you fucking think I'm leaving? I'm out. I'm done. Fuck this place, man. Like, I can't do it anymore. Fucking going to the mountains. Just gonna go chill with Kona. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm gonna be doing. That's what I'm gonna be doing up in the mountains, Riz.
You have a tent?
Hell yeah! I got that big ass fucking like military style cabin tent where I just set up the poles on the outside and hang it over it.
Okay.
So I busted out all the MREs, cut them all open. Fucking most of the bread's stale and all that because I'm fucking like 12 years old or 10 years old. And then just using all the meat for like soups and shit so I don't have to take meat up there. You know, I got like canned meat. Like I bought instead of buying the crappy Spam, I went to those like fucking Muslim markets and got the halal chicken and the halal beef in a can. And it's cheaper than Spam and it's fucking better quality. And then just make soups and shit like that. And then probably cook meat the first day. You know, and then fish. Just that would be my meat. Or kill a fucking squirrel.
Oh, jeez. Have you ever eaten squirrel?
No, but I know how to dress one. It's probably scrumptious.
It's not scrumptious.
Why wouldn't it be? It eats nuts all day, just like you do. You're probably delicious.
You're an idiot. All right. So what topic did you see the one I sent you last week that I'd like to talk about? read an article about Disney and intellectual property, and it really irked that out of me.
No, please go in.
All right. So when the Constitution,
go for it.
when the Constitution was first developed, our founders felt that intellectual property should not be protected forever more than 14 years, because if you couldn't take 14 years make money off of it, they felt like, well, let somebody else have a shot at it. And that after 14 years, it would have created enough intellectual, artistic creativity that it gives somebody else a chance to spin it off. And so for almost a century, intellectual property was 14 years. And then in the 1800s, some things got developed. And so, of course, lobbying and all that, they got it pushed. It went from 14 years to 20 years, 22 years. And pretty much 22 years was the standard. And so when Disney did Mickey Mouse and all those back in the 40s, when they came due, they were in 60, I think it was in 66. That was at the height of the Disney empire. You know, they had created Disney World, Disneyland and all of that. And so they petitioned Congress, and they spent millions of dollars, and they got it pushed to 30 years. So they got an additional 30 more years on top of that, not just 10 more. Yeah, so it came due in the 1990s, and they fought it, and now it's up to 70-something years.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Ribs, because the reason the Founding Fathers picked 14 years is because they also picked 14 years. They discussed it for our Constitution, is because that is what a generation is. And they thought that no generation before them should be able to enslave the generation after them. And so if the Constitution only lasted 14 years, every 14 years, somebody would be able to come in and say, hey, is this right for us? And if it isn't, what parts are and what parts aren't, and what do we mix in? Oh, and so then what do we do? What do we do with this fucking 72 years? Because it's obviously going to keep going, because if they just bought fucking Marvel and now they bought Fox. So
yeah,
there's going to be news opposition to what they're doing.
And this is what really was irksome about the article, is that when you look at what made Disney huge, it was Snow White, it was Sleeping Beauty. These were all stories that were in the public domain. They weren't created by Disney. These were actually works that had been written and had worked their way into the public domain. And so then by turning them into movies, they enfranchised them, and they become synonymous with Disney. And this is where so much of what's wrong with America, because think about intellectual property now. It's in the computer. It's everything.
They're trying to do it with software. They're doing it with video games where you don't, and they're trying to do what John Deere's doing it the best with tractors. You can't service your tractor. You have to have a John Deere certified software technician to be able to, like they're going to do it with cars. It's because they're saying that software is, trust me, Riffs, because they're doing it with video games. You'll never own them. You'll be a leaseholder. They're doing it with all aspects. Windows, their new fucking, instead of owning Windows now or Microsoft, now you're doing their package.
You buy the package for a year and it's like $90.
There's no choice. It's because they know that that's where their money is. It's not that you owning MSS. That's why people should go to Linux. I mean, once Linux makes a fucking a computer that a company can use, a software system that a company can use, it's just as easy. Like OS is not company wide, because if you worked in like where you guys worked, Schwab or things like that, MS-DOS is what you need. You need Microsoft in some aspect. And, fucking this just isn't going to cut it. But now the fact that they're coming out with you're just a surf owner of it, why perpetuate it? I mean, it's tantamount. We're not even going to be able to work on our cars. We're not going to be able to do shit. Like, you will have to have a certification from a person that, that was not fixed by, I mean, haven't we had this fight with Apple and other things over phones? We've already had this intellect. Once we buy them, we should be able to jailbreak them and take them wherever we want. Like, that's been fought. We just have to keep fighting it, And the easiest way to do it is probably with what the shit you said, because in my eyes, those are public domain, because those are the Grimm stories. So to make Snow White, to do those things, you can't. Those are not intellectual property. And furthermore, I mean, fair use. I'm as a goddamn comedian, them taking away any of my rights to use Disney or what they're doing in the UK. making that memes have to be, you have to have a copyright to be able to use meme material, and they're putting on the person hosting the site. So it's just going to take out, they're basically trying to take out satire, take out a form of communication that's actually political. That's really what the fucking end goal is. Well, already here.
Yeah. Well, it's about control. What was really sad and eye-opening is last night, Holly and I we were being nostalgic, and online I picked You Got Mail, that movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It came out in '98, you know, and the whole ding, AOL, You Got Mail. I mean, you remember it. You guys were little, but the phone would do the bzzz.
I wasn't that little. I was fucking 10, 11, 12. I mean,
well, that's still little.
But I mean, it's my coherent memories.
Yeah.
The dial-up porn generation. You know, they call me millennial, but I'm no
yeah.
millennial.
Nah, you're a millennial, but not.
I'm not. I'm dial-up porn. I'm dial-up porn generation millennial. I'm no analog millennial. I'm not analog millennial. I'm not a digital millennial. There's a difference. You know, I grew up with analog. A lot of these millennials grew up digital. We're totally fucking different.
Yeah, I know that they're trying to define a different term for kids that were born between 82 and I think 88, because that's like the last.
The dial-up porn generation.
The dial-up porn.
Beep, beep, trying to print out porn pictures, and you had to watch the color ink to see how much. You couldn't take too much color ink, because then your mom would be like, where's all the printer ink going? Like, oh, hey, school project. A lot of color photos I had to print, a lot of graphs.
Your poor mom, if she only knew what you guys were doing.
I'm sure
I didn't know what you were doing. It was like, it's crazy. But no, it was just funny.
Stupid system.
To watch because I actually remember it, to watch that burgeoning honesty of instant messenger, you know, because the whole plot line of Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, you know, they're rival business people. They don't even know it. And they're like falling in love through instant message. And I remember that spark of honesty that started to develop because of the internet, and it's gone so far in this other direction where people are honest, but they say such horrific things because there's no repercussion at all of a punch in the mouth. I mean, some of the things that are said by these trolls would.
I beg to differ, Riz. I think it's getting so bad that if you look at our current climate, people are saying things and now they're being held overly accountable. Now, where you stand on the James Gunn incidents, and I don't think that child pedophilia is funny. I don't think what Dan Harmon is funny. But as an edgy comedian, I get it, and I don't think that people should. Nor do I think Roseanne Barr should have been busted for saying racist tweets. So we are having people be dismantled for their speech. We're not having the opposite.
But I'm talking about the hidden trollism where
people are getting doxxed all the time. There's so many people that think they're hidden. That's the thing about and then it goes on and ruins their career. They think they're saying something privately, but nothing's private. Nothing is private. Everything is logged on redundant drives and easily accessible for every person. All of our search history, like eventually what South Park did will happen. We will have an open database where somebody can just type in your name and every search, or at least your email address, because most of it's tied to whatever your email address would be. So your Gmail address is always logged in and logs all your history. Even if you set your computer to not log history, your Gmail account still logs all your history. So it's so easily accessible. People aren't. That's why I'm laughing my ass off. I love it, because now it seems like people are finally starting to wake up to the fact that, yeah, it's a little absurd. People should have the right to free speech. And it's funny because it's the left getting eaten by themselves, because they're the pieces of shit that started in the first place. They started this identity politics. They started this, you speak, now you're going to be held accountable for your words. Well, I mean, look at the New York Times editor they just hired, all that anti-white shit. I mean, at what point? I mean, everyone thinks that, you guys are just upset. You guys are just angry. No, we're checking the fuck out of your system for sure. You know, there's a lot of people checking out their system and going their way. And, you know, people like Jordan Peterson and shit like that say it's wrong, that, you know, we're bolting, and that, you know, it's an apathetic way to go about it, not actually a smart way to get out. But what's the alternative? I'm not wanted. My very white cis male essence is fucking the vitriol of most people's fucking hatred. And to be honest, I don't like paying for net negatives. You know, when I've never you know me, I could easily be getting disability from the military right now, and I just don't do it. I could easily be getting fucking food stamps. I could have gotten in a lot of shit, you know, but I just don't fucking do it. I do not want to be a part of the system, the government, or anything else, because I don't want to pay into it. I don't want to. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want you to have access to my money. I don't think that I owe you 35%. And at one time even in your existence, the fucking top rate was like 78%. I mean,
yeah.
What intellectual who makes money is going to give that amount of money to a system that does not benefit them?
Well, that's why the Beatles wrote Taxman, was they got their first, George Harrison got his first tax dunning notice, and he was like, you know, and that was back when in Great Britain, if you made over a certain amount, they could take 90%. And that's when a lot of British citizens started expatriating themselves to, you know, like the Bahamas, places like that, British colonies that.
And it sucks because I love the United States. I love the Constitution, right? But if the Constitution, we just saw what happened in South Africa, where the mob changed the Constitution to allow for the dismantling of private property to confiscate land from white owners. Pretty soon it'll change the Constitution to allow genocide of those white people. So I don't really want to live in a place where Constitution is dictated by mob rule. And I do not want to have my money or my children or my bloodline or any other aspect tied to it.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not the world that I was born into. It's ridiculous.
Well, you were born into the beginning of a Ponzi scheme. I think that, you know, that was the beginning of the pilfering of the wealth. Like you said, you can't stifle greed, right? If we don't, blockchain can at least put transparency to it so the average Joe can see the greed, because we cannot stymie human greed. If we could, we would have lived in a perfect society. So most of us live pretty altruistically, but we all know that 1% of our population does not have a prefrontal cortex, and without that prefrontal cortex, reason is out the window, and so is empathy.
Yeah, it's actually higher than 1%. It's closer to 4%.
It's closer to 4%. That's a lot of numbers, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of numbers.
Because that was part of one of the courses I taught, was the whole nature of psychopathy, and that they find that upwards of 10% of us have varying degrees of lack of empathy, but the true psychopath is somewhere around the 3 to 4% of the population.
I'd probably say I got a lack of empathy in some regards. I mean, I'm a very empathetic human being. I give my time. I go to food shelters and I do shit like that. But when I look at the collective right now, like I'm cool standing alone. Like I don't want your system, and I don't want to be a part of it. Like I just want to be alone. Not in the sense of like I don't want to have a family. I don't want to have any of that. I mean, I want to be sovereign in all sense of self. Free of enterprise, free of association. If I want to fucking live in an all-white neighborhood, an all-yellow neighborhood, an all-orange neighborhood, I should be able to live whatever the fuck I want, and send my kids wherever the fuck I want, dictate whatever the fuck I want. You know, it's so clear that everybody else can say no gentrification, aka keep whites out of our own land. You know, you have all these people everywhere. Oh, this business is coming and gentrifying and culturally appropriating our own country. Fuck you. Where are whites allowed to have a home? Not Europe, not Africa, not America.
Well, there are still strong enclaves of all white. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire is pretty much 99%.
What's the current narrative? That they're too white and need to be diversified by any means necessary.
But what happens is that when people move there, they leave because they're not comfortable. There was just an article about, it wasn't an article, it was on Bill Maher. And he was talking about people moving there and then complaining that they felt like they were not accepted. And it's like, and he even was being snide about it to them, saying, look, you're moving to a place that's 99% white. It's going to have white culture. If you want to live in that.
How can one white person cannot go live in Detroit without getting stomped if he goes in an all-black neighborhood? And your girl getting raped? Like, you can't even go anywhere in most of Europe. You can't walk through Italy. You can't walk through UK. you can't walk through France without getting harassed. So, I mean, why do people put up with it? Like, I just don't even get how people are so passive and allow there's the acid attacks, like 500 a year now in UK, the rape gangs, these do you see what the girl's doing? The Minnesota girl that got arrested for female genital mutilation, she's claiming that constitutional right protects her Sharia law, and that's what her lawyers are fighting for right now. So that female doctor that has been the chick doing all the genital mutilations in little Mogadishu over in Minnesota, that we allow.
Oh, yeah, I heard about her doing it. I didn't know that. I figured that was going to be her defense.
Of course, why that can't be front news, because then we get racist against Sharia law. All I'm saying is, I see the writing on the wall, and we've won every other war. Intellectuals are going to win this one too, and whether it be by us leaving this country. I mean, we've seen a brain drain from almost every major financial institution, right? We've seen now a brain drain from Jersey to Florida. And we've seen a brain drain from Chicago to several other parts, Indiana, Florida, Arizona. So those financial, and then the only jobs going there are sub $50,000 jobs. Why 75 and above are fleeing in huge droves. So sure, the number of population doesn't look like it's switching, but how much those population are bringing in switches. And we just had that in Jersey. How much longer until New York City? California is already semi-experiencing it now. But now that you got these taxes up in Silicon Valley of $225 a person for per head, per year, if you employ over 100 people, you think that eventually they're going to stay there? That's $21 million if you got 20,000 employees. There's no fucking way. No fucking way. You're going to go elsewhere. You're going to go to Utah, where you guys are, where they're building the new Silicon Valley. You're going to go to Austin, where they're building one. You're going to go to several other spots. So if we're witnessing a brain drain from our financial institutions, why aren't we going to witness a brain drain from the entire state itself? I mean, Germany had a brain drain come to America, Jewish and German. Right before the war and after the war. Brain drains are normal for a decaying society and a dead society. I mean, I think we're probably going to see a brain drain in the United States here very, 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 very shortly. I mean, especially if Elon Musk takes his company private. Do you see he's going to try to take Tesla private?
Yeah.
To buy them
But
out.
I wonder how much of an impact that would have on SpaceX. Because he's
none. SpaceX is private. That's what he was saying. He said, look how effective SpaceX is being private. But
I'm just saying he can't be too anti-government because he depends on government stuff.
No, it is. They need SpaceX because that's what they're. Look, we rely on Russia right now, even though they're our enemy. We rely on Russia to get all of our stuff up into space, to get up to ISS. We rely on Russia because we are redoing our space program, and we want to rely on private enterprise and government. It's inevitable now because we don't want to be funding, think about it. Why would NASA put its research towards getting to Mars when we can allow SpaceX to put its research on getting to Mars, and NASA can put all of its research into returnable vessels? So like the Apollo ones that are returnable and reusable, which is what we really need. Those Challengers were a fucking disaster. So a private government, I think that the government, I'm not communist or socialist in any way. I'm very capitalist, but I think that the government should be a competitor. I don't think that they should use their regulation to box people out. That would very, very quickly lead to tyranny. But I think
I totally agree. They need to be an innovator because they have, and I mean, that's how it's always worked. I mean, the space race actually created all this technology. It created the foundations for this technological jump that occurred in the 80s and the 90s.
Ribs, I mean, if you see what Tesla did with their battery for Australia, they saved them like $30 million because, Australia if they have shortages, they switch to coal and they switch to other ones. Now, when they have shortages, they switch to Elon's battery. It was so effective at backing them up, how quickly it turned on, that they actually, when they did an audit, they actually ended up owing him another $20 million when they realized how much it actually saved them. So him going
Why aren't they doing it in Puerto Rico then?
I mean, here's what I would say is that Puerto Rico has got a corrupt government. I mean, didn't they have a chance at electricity and things just sitting there while governments were just pilfering money and sending NGOs off so they could take instead of getting food, they could take the cash. and the food was just sitting there. I mean,
there hasn't been any kind of a real audit into it. There's just all this distracted noise where they put it all on Trump.
If you did an audit of Haiti and you did an audit of Puerto Rico, you probably find some NGO fingers that we didn't want to find. Clinton Foundation, Bill Gates Foundation, Red Cross, building 60 homes, you know, things like that. Like, if you had an audit, you'd have a riot. Here's the thing where I stand with Puerto Rico is it's just simply another way to get blue votes. That's all they're looking to do. So this crisis there is allowing so many refugees to Miami from Puerto Rico, and it's a blue vote. It's turning a red state blue. I don't vote. I could care less. I think it's a disaster. I think whoever is in charge is basically the captain of the Titanic. We need a reformer. You know, that's what doing all my like history and doing all that stuff. America hasn't had a reformer. You know, we have not had somebody that has, you know, think
Teddy
about
Roosevelt, but a lot of that got undone by
Lincoln. It's just been a while. But I mean, it was like, you know, you had some of the Caesars, you had Augustus, you had other people who took a monarchy and then, you know, turned it in, or it was the first time ever. It might have been great for the Republic to take it into your hands and be private, but it dismantled all chance of the Republic having any power over a Caesar. Some of these reformers are terrible. Some are great. I just think America's in a fucking very ugly spot, and with the way I see it, everyone's like, it's divide and conquer. They're just trying to get us to fight each other, and then blah blah blah. No, there's no money, and they want you to blame everybody else because pretty soon all the pensions are going to go bust. I mean, Connecticut, New Jersey, California, Illinois, and one more cannot meet any of their pensions.
What about California? Are they in a position?
So if I didn't say Cali was the fifth. I thought I said, but if I didn't, then Cali was the fifth. So those five already can't make their payouts. The Teamsters just had their first union bust in Illinois, and that's going to be and their pensions went from 45 down to $12,000, and that's as the government fund depletes. 12,000 is all anybody's going to get across the board, and that's if they can even afford it. If our government can even afford it. And they're going to blame on the red, they're going to blame illegals. And on the left, they're going to blame your government never paid back what they borrowed from the Social Security in the first place, let alone that it was a Ponzi scheme anyway. So it didn't matter if you borrowed against it. It was meant to fail if you didn't have enough people generating capital. So, I mean, this place to me looks like the Titanic. And do I sit here and play the goddamn violin while the ship sinks? Or do I get the fuck off? Do I pull a Billy Zane and pretend like I'm a girl? This is my kid.
But the thing is that, I mean, worldwide, if we go down, everything goes down.
No, that's never happened anywhere. I mean, it might be, but you get rebounds quick. I mean, Germany rebounded faster than anywhere else after the Great Depression. You would have a place like China, which has massive resources, would probably mass import intellectual whites and mass import intellectual anywheres because they have massive cities they built that are just standing empty. You know, they're capitalist communist. You know, there's a lot of white people I know that have fled over there, whether they're South African fleeing and starting businesses up there, or they're filmmakers. You know, and it's so cheap to live there, and there's a huge industry. And they built a film industry, and they don't have the knowledge yet to run it. Like, so there's in Latin America, who has now watched what happened with capitalism involvement from a military industrial complex. You got Brazil destabilized, you got Venezuela, you got all these things, right? So now you got Latin America going, hey, wait a minute, maybe we don't want to take a loan from the IMF. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should pull a Greece, and we should do these things that say, hey, maybe we should have our own cryptos. You know, you have some of these, you have smaller places starting to do it now. Well, the Philippines taking back from their drug lords. There's going to be so many places that are sick and tired of military intervention that they'll just be isolationist, and they will be true capitalists in the sense of that, sure, it might get ugly, but this is getting more and more free and more transfer of information so quick. I mean, watching my problems with this money over Bank of America and Google Pay, all it takes is one time, right? Once that happens, because PayPal is going to start having to charge more fees. They've already come out and said it, right? So as people start getting harder and harder and harder to do these things, and it gets easier and easier and easier to do crypto, and not so, oh, you have to do 32 characters. It's more of just tapping a button. More consumer friendly. As these things start to pass each other, the jumping of the ship's not going to be so sudden. It's not going to be so like, oh, where did all these crypto users come from? Oh God, the bank. It's just going to be a shortfall so fast. These banks even going to see it coming. They're not going to see it coming because they don't get it even today. The fact that Bank of America and Google Pay are so inept where they can't even link up and figure out why there's a card. Oh, your card's just tonight. I suggest you call your bank. And then they call the bank, and the bank says, no, it doesn't work through debit cards. Debit cards can't receive money. It's never done that. Are you guys just digging your own graves? Do you guys even see what you're doing? Or are you just too fucking stupid to see in front of your own face because you got so much money dangled like little cheese on a treadmill, and you're just running along and thinking it's going to keep staying on forever like Blockbuster?
That's a good point. I mean, people started bitching about the transaction fees at Blockbuster, the late fees. That's what was that did them in.
You're so right.
Because people, that's where, because then Blockbuster did that one fee for 7 days type thing, and that was too little, too late. People had already started
shit. They had already started doing the. Yeah, you're fucking right. It was the fees. It wasn't the convenience. It was that you were a day late, and they just hosed you.
Yeah.
You know, Bank of America did it the other day. I got, I do business bank, so monthly they charge me a business banking fee, and then so what they did is they withheld the process payments, and then allowed 3 to go through. So I only had $8 left, right? Then processed their fee, and then so I was like, I had the $8 left in the account because I took it all the way down, right? And then they charged me the overdraft fee, which put me in the red. And then they charged me my monthly maintenance fee and then charged me another overdraft fee. And luckily, because I'm a preferred business customer or whatever, I just called and got it fixed right off, right? But they're just counting on me to not notice. They're counting on me to just be able to just, oh, wait, we're not going to let these smaller charges go through. We'll do the big charge. Okay, cool. That's processed. And now we'll process all these smaller charges. So we can put $35 a fee on each one, and now it goes in the red. All it takes is like a person really, really getting frustrated one time. And then when you go to a place and all of a sudden your aunt is telling you, oh, you haven't heard about Bitcoin Cash? Oh, it's just the same as BitPay, and there's no bank, and there's no infrastructure, and you could tap it just the same way you could tap anywhere else. You could make payments with it. Once the fucking average Joe is saying that at their rant at Thanksgiving dinner because they're sick and tired of just getting fisted again for their $47, $35 overdraft fee, which is most of it. I mean, if these banks are raking in $20 billion annually in overdraft fees, it's coming from people that don't have it in the first place.
Yeah, well, you could make the argument that it's a way to create a cycle of perpetual poverty for a group.
I know what it is because why do you think I don't have a personal account anymore? I knew what it was. With my business account, I could set things up to freeze transactions. I could set up other things. They treat me better. They actually treat me like when I call, it doesn't matter if it's like my 47th overdraft fee in the year. I'm like, I don't want it. I shouldn't have the overdraft fee. I go through it, and then I think maybe I paid 1 or 2 in the whole time. If I ever, because sometimes I get reckless and just fucking don't throw money in the account. I like everything cash. In that film industry, I got something in my eye.
So, do you bank at Bank of America?
Well, not anymore. Like I'm about to go. I got all my information, my tax ID stuff, so I'm just gonna fucking go hit up one of these credit unions because I don't want to send my crypto monies to Bank of America. When I eventually do, I don't. Because I've heard horror stories where Bank of America freezes your funds, and then calls the IRS and says, but even if it's my first time, and so I'm still going to have to, I'm going to, that's what I'm trying to say is like, I do not want to be a part of Bank of America because they assume you're guilty out the gate. Like how many people have tried to pull out? Now, luckily I have a business account, so it's different. But if I had a personal account and if I went down to the bank and I wanted to pull out $10,000 cash, like I did when I was making my movie. If I said I just want $10,000 cash, and they said, what do you need it for? I mean, I've heard bank tellers ask that to other people in the business in the business line. The business person's like, what? Whatever, my business expenses. I'm not telling you why I'm pulling out my money. It's my money. But if you're in the personal side and you try to take out 10 G's, see how fast they let you take it. See if they let you pull it out at all. There'll be a stop. You'll have to fill out some stuff to bring over a bank manager. They'll grill you. Anything more than that, good luck. And if you don't have a reason for why you want to pull out that money, like a legit, oh, you're going to go purchase right now, see if they even let you pull it out. Or you structure, they'll freeze your account if you structure. So many people run their small businesses and aren't smart enough to take their tax because they don't know that you don't even need to get an LLC. You could just take your tax ID number, which they already have, and just go get a business bank account with that tax ID, and they'd be fine. But instead, so many people deposit money every day from their convenience store or whatever other small business, and then they call it structuring because you're putting in denominations that are large, but it's under $10,000 because $10,000 has to be reported, right? So if you're putting in $10,000 each time, you're reporting it. They're reporting it. If you're putting under $10,000 now every time, now they're saying you're structuring. So you're guilty both ways, and it's just a way to control our money. And it's just going to take, because once it fucks one person, when civil asset forfeiture is fucking people, once these things are fucking one person, they could never civil asset forfeiture your cryptos, ever, even if they took your drive, ever. What are they going to keep you in detention indefinitely until you divulge your 32 numeric code you probably don't even have memorized, and you probably can forget where you had anyways, and now that they have your drive, I mean, you can't even access it ever again. It's just lost money. How many people lost their Bitcoins? Lost forever. Sorry, government. People are going to realize real quick that the safest way for us to have our independence and our sovereignty is 3D printing and blockchain technology.
So on your business account, are you able to, if you went and worked somewhere, could you give them your tax ID number, or do they have to pay you under your social security number?
No,
Can you LLC yourself and get paid
under my tax ID number? That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like when Jarrett's finally big enough to be hired, like I'm going to hire Jarrett King LLC, and then Jarrett King LLC will be employed. So even when I'm hired on movie sets, if I ever get the opportunity, if I'm ever, obviously if you're below the line, good luck with that. Good luck going to, because you technically could just have a tax ID number and force your employer to pay to that tax ID number. You could be a subcontractor of self. You could be the representative of Jarrett King and hire. So, I mean, but good luck telling, Saddle Ranch Chop House to, oh, I don't really want my, good luck even telling them that you're tax exempt. If you try to tell a company that you're tax exempt just so you can pay your own taxes at the end of the year, they'll try to pretend like you're some kind of criminal. Your taxes have to be withheld. People are inept. They have been trained that our government owns our money before we do.
Okay. So if you have your business account, you can you transfer assets to a business? Or does it have to be purchased initially by the business?
No, like I could transfer my Jeep to my business. If that's what you're asking, yes, I could transfer my cars to my business right now. Not my Chrysler because I'm making payments on it, but my Jeep I can transfer. Yes, I could, but then it's a different kind of auto insurance policy because I looked into it. It's just more expensive. Like it'd be worth it if I was actually like, if my film business was driving the Jeep all the way to, as opposed to the Jeep just sitting in my driveway, or now down Pacific Beach. But like, if it would actually had a purpose for my business, hell yeah, you can list all those things. You just would basically purchase it or lease.
But it has to be owned. It can't.
Yeah.
You can't buy it.
I can't lease the vehicle that I'm leasing from Chrysler, but I can lease the vehicle from Jarrett King. So I could basically.
Are you leasing your vehicle? You're not paying.
No, I'm paying. You know what I mean. When I say leasing, I mean just giving payments. Hell no, I'll never lease a car. Especially because I would already ruin the mileage on it. Leases come with like 10,000 miles a year. I put like 46,000 miles that thing in 2.5 years.
Okay. All right. You really actually should start considering doing some documentaries and educating people through film. People are learning more via video, audio than they are reading.
Oh, I know. It's just sad because but I guess my reading would make me a better fucking video audio documentarian. It's just, you know, I got a couple ideas. You know, I got one about the state of decay in our school system, talking about they've already kind of touched on the topic of the lottery system in, you know, some of the shittier neighborhoods. And then honestly, that we are, as taxpayers, are paying, we think they're public schools, but, you know, these schools in Baltimore are costing $15,000 a student, and, you know, over 50% of the school is not even showing up. And these teachers are forced to give them A's, or at least pass them. So even though they don't show up, just so they can keep their numbers. You know, there's been some teachers that come out and had to say that and said, you know, this isn't fair. We're setting these kids up for a disadvantage because they're graduating, but they didn't show up. They didn't do anything, and the district's making money. And $15,000 a student for no education at all is a shock, considering that $10,000 of a private school would get you one of the best educations out there. So people need to start taking advantage of their voucher systems if they're around. So yeah, that's true. Maybe, you know, go out there and fucking do some stuff. Like, that's what this is about. Write some scripts.
Yeah, and actually help people understand how to, because one of the biggest things that's holding people back of buying Bitcoin, buying cryptos, is the hassle of learning how to use Coinbase and then move it to Bitrex or Binance or whatever. And I don't think there's anything out there that's really educating people well. Like, I used to tell Chance that you guys could probably make a small fortune teaching people how to build marijuana ops with so many states.
Not
like,
doing
you
it.
just did how-to videos on how to build ops.
Should have done how-to videos.
You know?
Now I can hear myself.
You hear yourself talking?
3 years. Yeah, the whole time I wasn't hearing myself. Now I hear me talking to you.
Oh. Maybe the microphone down here is picking it up.
Huh.
So anyway, yeah, I'm going to see Zach. He's going to come up on Friday. And so tomorrow we're going to get up kind of early. We want to be on the road by 6 a.m. It's a 5-hour drive. It's just like going to Vegas. It's literally all freeway. It's the 80 the whole way.
Nice, that's not so bad.
So we just bypass Park City and go up through Evanston and then just go across the bottom portion of Wyoming. We're going to pick up some Powerball and Mega Million tickets, and I've picked a couple little small podunk towns that sell them. Because I got a feeling that because they haven't had a winner in a small town.
Millions and millions and millions of people have feelings.
Yeah, I know.
Gonna be the winner. You pick. Here's your number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If it's that, I'm gonna kill myself.
But then just gonna check out Laramie. I've never really stayed in Laramie.
I mean, neither. Oh shit! So I'm definitely probably gonna try to. Dude, that was if this guy would have just, if it would have just went through, the freaking Google Pay wouldn't have been so inept. I would have bought the Broncos tickets to Arizona. Just because $38.
October?
Hell yeah, $38 to. And if both those teams are doing good, I know those tickets are gonna go up. I know they are because it's Thursday night football. So Thursday night football for $38.
Yeah.
I've never even been to that stadium, to be honest, just for like a stupid convention. I've never actually seen a game in Cardinal Stadium.
Really?
Remember I freaking I hopped tickets that I got at the radio station.
Got in trouble.
No, I didn't get in trouble. They just asked for them back, and I just took off running.
Yeah, but they fired you from the job.
No, they didn't. They sent me a paycheck, and they were asking if I was okay. I just never talked to them.
That was just the dumbest thing.
Oh, it's hilarious.
There's free tickets, and then you turn around and sell them to...
Hell yeah! To some Raiders fans. Or no, it was Green Bay fans, because it was right before the Green Bay-Arizona game, right before Green Bay and Arizona played again the next week in the playoffs, no matter who won that game. So I was like, hey, and then I just... $360, well spent.
So, anyway, I've got to get going on with my day since it's my last day before I go back here at the house. I got to get some things done. but
good.
feeling great. Things are good. I had
Weight
had
still
a,
down?
had a point. Yeah, yeah. I've stabilized. I haven't lost anything in a month, but I haven't really gained anything
What are you
either.
at?
118. I mean, 218.
Okay.
218.
Okay.
So
Okay. Good. Just stick with the diet, working out.
Can't you see it in the face?
Yeah. You look skinny, but are you exercising still?
Oh yeah, yeah. Took my bike out for a ride.
Nice.
Went and got a tune up on it, and I've been going to the gym, and just, we went on 3 hikes this weekend.
That bike's probably one of the best ones though, because it doesn't get your heart rate up too crazy, and you can burn some serious calories over some miles.
And then I mean, it was I'm not going to lie. When the grandkids were here, we ate out. You know, we were in Vegas, so we ate out. We took them to a buffet, and I ate a buffet.
Crazy when we were there, yeah.
You know, so
as long as you're just not fucking gorging yourself.
We went to the Blueberry Hill. You know, I mean, because that they needed to see that place.
You're only eating half.
Yeah, actually, we went for my birthday because I hadn't eaten out. We went last night to Red Lobster for my birthday, and half of my meal is sitting up in the refrigerator.
Yeah, good. So as long as you're doing that shit, I'm fine with you going out to eat ribs. As long as you're fucking putting up half. Even if you have to discipline yourself and ask for a box right when you order, cut half of it up and put it in the fucking box.
Yeah. No, we've been good, and I saw the cardiologist last week, and numbers are good, and my heart is really good. So he thinks that he wants to see me one more time, and then he has a feeling he won't need to see me for 6 months.
Nice. Did you see the new short ribs? Did you see the Ancient Aliens?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna go.
This is my parents. I love it. You guys are like, oh, I can't wait till you make it. You're gonna treat us so nice. Mom doesn't even know that I make comedy. Probably she hasn't seen shit.
No, I saw it, and then I got going on something, and I was like, it's just been crazy busy.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll do it right now. It's on YouTube.
When my manager's going, your dad's calling again from the trailer you bought him. He can't connect. Oh, tell him I'm busy.
It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
They haven't kicked you off like they did Alex Jones.
Yeah, me and my 178 followers, Ribs. No, they haven't, not yet.
That's just nuts.
I just don't monetize my videos. That's the way to keep them off my back. If I don't monetize my videos, they don't ever really come for me because I'm not looking for money.
Oh, okay. Well, I will look at it right now before I get on with my chores.
Cool. Sounds good, Fruit.
All right. Love ya.
You too.
Okay. Bye.